Let's talk about something huge: parental responsibility. What does it really mean? We're about to dive into a deeply personal and, honestly, pretty provocative monologue on this exact topic. It's the kind of thing that makes you stop and think, especially if you're a parent or even just considering it one day. It forces you to ask some tough questions. And boom, here it is, the core question, the one that just hits you right in the gut. If you can't be responsible, why do you have children? I mean, wow, it's so direct, right? So challenging. And this single question is the bedrock for everything else we're going to get into. And look, the point here isn't to blame anyone. It's about making us all stop for a second and really, really think. So you have to wonder, where did all this intensity come from? Well, the speaker tells us it all kicked off because of a comment she kept seeing from her viewers. It was this one sensitive question that just kept popping up, and it obviously struck a deep chord. And this was the question: how can someone just abandon their own kid? It's a question that's just dripping with disbelief. It's like people are trying to wrap their heads around something that feels totally impossible. And that one question is what really set this whole emotional exploration in motion. Okay, so to even start trying to tackle a question that big, the speaker brings it back to something personal. She starts with her own perspective, grounding her entire argument in what she believes is this primal, unbreakable bond, that really powerful, almost sacred connection between a mother and her child. And listen to how she describes this bond. It's not just, an emotional thing for her. It's way more physical, way more visceral than that. She talks about it being forged from a mother's own blood, from the raw pain of childbirth. In her eyes, that shared physical experience creates a link that, well, it should be impossible to break. And to really drive this point home, she shares this incredibly personal story. She talks about a time when her child was sick with a cough, and she just sat up all night long holding him, just so he could get some comfortable sleep. See, that's not just a nice little story. For her, that's the proof. That's the bond in action, that sacrifice, that instinct to put your kid's comfort before your own. That, she says, is what motherhood is all about. Okay, so if she believes so strongly in this sacred physical bond, then she's stuck with this huge puzzle, right? How could any parent, but especially a mother who's been through all that, how could she ever make the choice to walk away? So she starts thinking about the usual reasons people break up, fighting with your partner, finding someone new, wanting to chase some personal dream, or just needing to get out of a bad marriage. But she puts it out there as a challenge. Are any of those things, are they really a good enough reason to leave your child behind? And this, right here, is the core of her disbelief. It's a rhetorical question, but you can feel the real pain behind it. She's basically asking, how can you forget the pain of childbirth, the feeling of nursing your baby? How can all those powerful physical memories just get pushed aside for a new partner or a different life? To her, it just feels like a massive betrayal. And it's not just an emotional argument she's making. She even brings in the law, pointing out that, hey, the legal system itself usually gives custody to a capable mother. It recognizes that bond. So for her, that makes it even more baffling when a mother chooses to leave. It just doesn't add up. All right, now the whole focus of this story is about to pivot. We've been talking about the parent's choice, but now we're going to look at the fallout, the real devastating consequences for the one person who had no say in any of this, the child. And you can see it here. It's like a domino effect. It starts with the parents splitting up, but look at what happens next. The child's trust, gone. Their whole sense of who they are gets all mixed up. Their upbringing suffers, and their entire future can be damaged. It's a tragic chain reaction, all from that one decision. And to make this less of an abstract idea, she gives this just heartbreaking example. Think about this for a second. A kid who is caught in the middle. A kid who can't even call their own mother mom because they're afraid it'll upset their new stepmom or dad's new partner. Can you imagine? It's such a small detail, but it shows you just how broken a child's world can become. This is so important. We as a society, we look at a kid who's acting out or an adult who has trust issues, and we're so quick to judge, right? We say, oh, they had a bad upbringing, or that person just isn't trustworthy. But the speaker is saying, hold on. The reality for that person is my parents abandoned me, and that feeling turns into, I can't trust anyone. The blame gets put on the victim, while the original wound gets totally ignored. So where does all of this lead? Well, it all builds up to her final point, and it's not really an answer to the why. It's more of an impassioned plea, a call for responsibility, aimed squarely at anyone who is even thinking about having a child. And she breaks it down into 3 simple steps. But this isn't just friendly advice. She presents this as a non-negotiable checklist, things you absolutely must do before you even think about bringing a child into this world. Okay, so step 1, and this one might surprise you. It's fulfill your own dreams first. Go live your life, chase your ambitions, do all the things you want to do. Her point is, don't have a child and then resent them for the life you didn't get to live. Step 2 is all about being ready. And not just, oh, I want a baby. No, this is about being truly capable. Are you emotionally ready? Financially stable? Are you mature enough to handle the massive, lifelong commitment that being a parent actually is? And then, and only then, after you've lived your life and after you are genuinely ready to shoulder that responsibility, that's when you should bring a new life into the world. Her message couldn't be clearer. Parenthood has to be a conscious, deliberate choice, not an accident, and definitely not an afterthought. And she leaves us with this final, haunting thought. At the end of the day, the real tragedy in all of this is that the child, that innocent little soul who had no say in any of it, they're the one who suffers. They carry the weight of their parents' choices. And that's a powerful, sobering idea to end on, reminding us just how heavy this responsibility really is.